Question for you tonight, and I want you to sort of think about it from, first of all, from your perspective, and then it's from whether you've seen this or done this to somebody else. And so I'm going to get to the point in a minute, but I wonder who knows what today is?
It's Monday. Monday.
No, it's not. It's
Well, it is technically Monday, but it's also something else.
IDAHOBIT Day.
Yes, it is.
And what is that really all about?
Oh.
Is that a...
Yes.
No? Is
It's
it...
National Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, Interphobia, and Transphobia.
Yes.
And arachnophobia. If you're spiders, you know, so
That's for this one. Okay, so being non-binary counts as being transsexual, so technically I'm transsexual.
Woo!
Cool. It's a big long sentence for something somebody at my age just doesn't even understand.
Yes,
So you
you
have to
are.
stay with me on this space. Right? I've got a great team to help me understand it, because sometimes I bugger it up a lot. So, but I love young people, that's what we do. But anyway, so here's the thing. I wonder how important tolerance is. How important is it?
Extremely.
Good. It's good to say that, isn't it? It's extremely important, isn't it?
Yes.
Great, yes?
I kind of want to make a point, like, there's like a difference between tolerance and acceptance.
Yes.
Like, you can tolerate something, but like, that doesn't necessarily mean you accept it, so, just wanted to.
That's so true.
I don't know, I was going somewhere with that.
Well, we're going somewhere with that, all right, because I've got that written down here too. Between acceptance and tolerance. So let me give you the dictionary version of what tolerance means. Yeah, I had to read it a couple of times. It's the ability or willingness to tolerate the existence of opinions or behaviours that one dislikes or disagrees with. That's what tolerance is. The ability or willingness to tolerate the existence of opinions and behaviours that one dislikes and disagrees with. Where have you been that you've had to tolerate someone else's behaviour? Work. Yeah, you're dead right about that one. Work is a classic, yeah?
In the schoolyard, or
Right.
just in general at school.
Yeah, in what way?
Like tolerating the noise level in the classroom when you're trying to focus. Yeah, and the disruptive behavior
Yep,
of students running in and out of the classroom.
sure. Pretty rowdy classroom. Yeah.
My family.
Yeah.
Tolerate your family.
My dad and my brother.
Right. You know, we're recording this, but you know, that's all right. Thank
I know we
you,
are.
Mary.
Can I put my
At home?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to tolerate your family's opinions
Sure.
about you. You have to tolerate whether they accept you or not.
Yeah.
Because they'll also tolerate you. You might come out to them or say something to them and they don't agree with it, and they will tolerate it, but they might not accept it.
Yes. Good. Can come back to it. Yep.
Social media, and I don't know how to classify this, but like privately. So as in like sometimes you just got to tolerate yourself and like your own flaws and stuff like that.
Yeah, don't you? Yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah, tolerating your own imperfections. Yep.
On TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to
Oh,
tolerate.
you got to tolerate what's happening on TV?
Yeah, you got to tolerate. Like when Beck did a 77 World Marathon interview, I was in that, we were in that.
Yeah.
You got to tolerate the lights and the questions.
Oh, yes, all of that. Yeah. Okay.
Tolerate said.
Good.
Okay, just to preface this, does tolerance mean silence? Like, is just, because if it does, then I'm not tolerant of anything, because I speak up whenever I like something. I don't think
someone likes it or not.
at a single family gathering when my, when granddad starts getting a little bit, stop. It's always, because I was raised, like, the minute, you don't like something, just to speak your mind. So to me,
So would that be intolerant?
I'd say so, because if I disagree with something, I'm fucking.
Woo! Bleep in that one.
The F word or the tolerance? Is that like a double, but right, yes, you can fold it, yeah?
Some people will tolerate
Yep.
Mm.
So a lot of that is like out there, isn't it? It's kind of like, have you personally tolerated something for a long time where you exist, where you see someone's behaviour, you see what they believe in, and you tolerate it. You could be tolerating that sneeze. If you grew up with that, good luck, you know. Yeah, no good sneeze, good full point. So, do you find yourself daily having to tolerate something from somebody else? Or if you go into an environment, how many of you love being in an environment that you just can't tolerate? How many of you just love it?
Oh, it depends on where it is.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Well, or I don't know about giving an example.
That was a quick backpack.
Well, I feel like you're not going to let me have an answer.
How scandalous is there's a situation you're referencing, huh? How scandalous.
Okay, so like some okay, I'm doing it. I'm crying out loud. Well, there are some situations where you can sort of tolerate it sometimes, or depending on, you know, who it is. Like certain comments made by certain people you can sit through and deal with. Because one, it gives you some great, you know, experience to be able to back yourself when you meet another person that says the same thing, like, haha, this ain't my first rodeo, I got you. But then also, other times you can just sort of sit there because you're like, I'm not really bothered, because sometimes ignorance and that is willful. And then you're going to just tolerate the fact that they're just going to be annoying because they're willfully doing so. So it depends on the situation and who it is.
Sure. Good. Gonna come back to you. Yeah.
I think sometimes I find being in situations that I generally can't tolerate, I appreciate them because they're kind of like a practicing of self-restraint.
Yeah. That's a great finished sentence. Self-restraint. Josh? So, you haven't got any, I know, that Phil just switched up a long time back. Yeah, yeah.
Kind of two sides to it. You know, obviously I don't tolerate situations where people are kind of attacking each other and stuff, but I enjoy putting myself in situations where I know an argument's going to break out. It's why I'm friends with Josh, it's why I like to go.
We've never agreed on an opinion.
I don't agree with you. No, I like going on Channel 7 news posts and arguing with Brutus.
Yes!
I like going on Sky News posts and arguing with right-wingers.
Yes. Yes.
Climate change is real. Yeah, it gets them every time. You know.
The earth isn't flat.
Yeah.
Right.
And it melts and it's bad.
Bex?
When I was refereeing basketball, a lot of that was intolerant behaviour. Like you had to deal with grown adults having a go at you, and a lot of the people that I ref with were children themselves. So that was a very intolerant environment, and it was very hard because you have to stay on a professional level, even though you just want to tell these people to.
Yeah. That's what they used before. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I found my new job. I'm working with a lot of people that used to be teachers, doing before and after school care, where our policy is just to let the kids have fun, but the teacher type educators are like, no, go by the rules. So I've kind of got to try to tolerate with other workers and who have different mindsets of workplaces.
Yeah.
I just want to put the thought out there that sometimes tolerance as well, I don't think always means agreement. So like you can still disagree with someone and someone's opinion, but you can also tolerate them at the same time, or tolerate their opinion while disagreeing with it.
Yep. There's a couple of great phrases I learned a long time ago. Is that if you think you're a fool, nobody will know. The minute you open your mouth, everybody will know you're a fool. So I don't like fools. I don't like people who are foolish in that space and who try to make other people small. I don't tolerate the fool, you know. There's another little phrase I live by, and it's called, don't cast your pearls before swine. So a pearl is meant to be a precious gem, and why would you throw it in a pig pen for them just to step it into the mud? And so if there's some things that are in you, pearls that are within you, why would you then expose that to the pig pen? You know, So don't cast your pearls, and having that restraint, that sense of hold back. And I get that. I'm probably less hold back these days than I used to, especially if I'm in a supermarket and I hear a parent having a crack at a child, you know, a little bit intolerant. I was in a restaurant a few weeks ago, and a male happened to be sitting at a table and with a family, and his, I guess it was his partner, and just the whole time was just kind of saying stuff, you know, to this gal, you know, stuff that wasn't very pleasant, you know, that you wouldn't say, the stuff you wouldn't say to your lover, you know, or your partner like that. And it was stupid anyway. It just happened to be a beautiful moment that we both need to go wee-wees together. So I went into the loo with this guy.
Sorry, Phil. Can I just? I don't think this is. There's young people here.
Yeah. I was very intolerant. Don't worry. I was focused on what I was going in there for.
Right.
So I went in there and I said to the guy while he was preoccupied. I said to him, "That was an interesting way you were talking to your friend at the table there. Is she your partner?" "Yeah." And I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Does that make you a big man to talk to her like that?"
Yeah. Go Phil.
Yeah, Phil.
So he's got hold of something right now that he better hang on to, you know. So I said to him, "Does that make you a bigger man?" I was speaking to her like that. He goes, "Well, you don't know what it's like to live with her." And I said, "So why do you live with her then?" "Because I think she'd be better off actually without you."
Left, right, good
The challenge is sometimes I'm not afraid of something that sort of situation, especially when someone's vulnerable. So in that space. But here's the thing, guys, is that could it be possible? I know it could not ever be possible that in this room we were intolerant or not accepting of other people in this room. Would that be true? I'm not going to ask you for a show of hands, but I wonder if there's times that young people, you, some of you, a couple of you, but I don't think it'd be any of you. I'd like to believe it would be none of you, that could come here and feel like you weren't accepted. That could come here and feel like people didn't tolerate you because of the way you dressed, or the way you behaved, or the way you laughed, or the way you hung out, or the way that you did crazy games, you know. Could that happen here?
Yes.
Have some of you experienced that here? Right. Thanks, Dante, for being honest. Oh, get it. Because I believe it happens. So it's so easy to say we tolerate this or we accept that, and on a day that is saying we're going to push aside all the phobias about acceptance and tolerance and differences and everything else and all the alphabets that I can't even keep up with. Thank God I've got a fantastic team for that, because I just can't. I'm nearly 55 years old, so trying to get my head around it, but I don't actually care about all the alphabet. What I care about is the individual. So imagine if they could come to a place where tolerance and acceptance was just so amazing in a room like this, that not one person could ever leave here not feeling like they were accepted or tolerated, even if they came with all their sugar honey iced tea on the outside, right? Even if they came with everything hanging out. I remember when, and some of you know the story, when Beck first came to Bridge Builders. She was the feralest chicken you could ever imagine, right? Stank of chook shit, you know, come off a chook farm, not educated, and now she is a world changer. Because we didn't just tolerate her smelly poo-poo body, you know, we said shower that. We said, you know, you can deal with that, you can shower that, because it was like, oh, you know, but the reality is within that person was such an astounding individual that we could see past all of the chook poop and see that in there was an amazing person. That's how I believe Bridge Builders should be. that every young person that comes here has this most incredible gift to bring to the room, and we don't just tolerate it, we accept that person because we all have our own junk. But I wonder, on a day like today, there's all your beliefs, all your values, everything you believe about what today's about. That's wonderful. But I wonder if we can stop putting it all out there and say, oh yeah, work, school, family, because you can close your door on your family if you've got a lock it, you know, but people have to tolerate me. People have to accept me, the way I'm wired, the way I am in their face, in the loo, when they're not expecting it, you know? So I like that I like that about me. I like that. I'm not afraid to put individuals in a space that makes them feel like what they were making somebody else feel. Because I was that kid when I was growing up that was bullied like that. And so I've got zero tolerance to that. Zero. So I'm very intolerant to somebody that's rejecting, not accepting, and not tolerating someone. Every time a young person, I was on the sign-up desk, thank you, I did take a photo of it so I can prove it. I was on, because I always bag because I'm never out there when I'm meant to be on it. And every young person I'm seeing come up the stairs and go, wonderful. It's another wonderful young lady, young man coming into the building. There's another wonderful young person coming into the room. Isn't it so cool? They made a decision sometime today they were coming to BB tonight. And what could we get wrong? What could we get wrong?
Not saying hello.
Right. It's not hard. Not saying hi when they come in. What are we saying?
We're turning our backs and continue to talk in our own conversation.
Right. Intolerant, not accepting, but that person today made a decision, whether it was on their own or with their mates, decided today, let's get to BB tonight. And when they arrived, if they came on their own, for God's sake, why would we not want to accept them and tolerate them and love them and get to know them? My best mate hated me when he first met me. I don't know why he could possibly hate me. If you knew him and me back then, you know, but best mate, and have we had some friction over the years, but I tell you what, we're committed to one another beyond that moment. And so some young people came here tonight carrying stuff that came from school, came from home, came from within themselves, and they came here to get the burden lifted, and then all of a sudden, could they possibly experience added more crap to their bundle? What a terrible, terrible thing that would be. I love looking at faces. I love seeing people smile. I love hugging people, so if you're funny about hugs, get over it, you know. So if you've got a phobia about that, today's the day. We're going to get rid of it. Because I taught my boys, now both my boys, I know I brag about them a lot. If I haven't told you they're hot. But you know, the reality is that she will never take the place of his dad. Just saying. So my 28-year-old police officer rings me today, having a good chat about life, and then he says, love you, Dad. Oh. Yeah, I said that, you know. I said, love you, son. Yay. My other one's sitting beside me because we're doing business together. He goes, yeah, love you, Dad. I said, yeah. Yay. So no one else matters at that point. Because I feel like I've invested 28 years. We haven't always seen eye to eye, you know, we haven't always tolerated one another. But the reality is that imagine if those boys grew up in my home that I grew up in. I would have hated that if they'd grown up in the home that I grew up in. I think that would have been diabolical. Because it was diabolical for me. So there are times where we need to keep our mouths shut when we're in environments, because it is a fool that has their mouth open at that point, and you have pearls that even if you cast them out there, gold nuggets, gems, beautiful things you could say right in that moment, it's just pigs in mud. Just squishing it into the dirt. Why would you cast a a beautiful thing, and that could be even yourself, putting yourself out there at times. But every young person that comes into this room, whether it's their first time or their 150th time, is a pearl. And we're not a sty of pigs. We're not. We're people that say we believe in intolerance, we believe in acceptance, we believe today is the day where we should be accepting everybody at every point in their journey, because at some point you were an asshole and people accepted you. At some point you were dysfunctional and broken and left out and cut. Did I say the wrong thing there? Oh, right. So I got that look of, you can edit this. So you were a person who was broken and nobody loved, and along came somebody else and said, I'm just going to push through the mud and find the pearl right there, and I'm just going to polish the poop off that, and it's been amazing. And we have had I've had the privilege, I was talking about this with Adam today, but it just reminded me today, man, so thanks for the little chat today, reminded me today of the tens of thousands of young people that I've had the privilege, while this organisation's been alive, is to see tens of thousands of young people go through the door who were pearls, every single one of them. So if you ever sit at home and you think to yourself, nobody gives a crap about me, it wouldn't matter whether I went to BB or not, you are wrong. You are wrong. Because you bring your dirty pearl here, and hopefully before you leave, we've polished the crap off that, and you look amazing and feel lighter and feel like you're actually worth something. Wouldn't that be an amazing experience to have at Bridge Builders on Monday night? You'd never not come. Because it's not only about getting your own pearl polished, it's about you being the person that goes up to somebody else and sees somebody sitting alone, being all left out and rejected and isolated, and saying to them, hey, who are you? What's your name? Where are you from? What's your favourite M&M? How are you? How awkward is it to have conversations sometimes, yeah? How awkward is it? Hey? Something?
What's your favourite food?
Yeah, or all of it. I'm not an onion fan. So, guys, here's the thing. On a day like today that people are celebrating or pushing back on or resisting right around the world, a whole lot of different things of trying to remember tolerance and acceptance and stuff like that. You are the generation like never before that is meant to be more accepting and more tolerant of anything else in the history of the human race. This generation sitting in this room, not mine, right? But this generation sitting here is meant to be the most tolerant. But could it be possible that young people could come into this room, because this is our patch, could come into this room and not feel accepted and not feel loved? And it's every one of us. A responsibility to make that not so. And I want you to feel, if you are a person that feels different, that is pursuing expression of who you are, your identity, your self-worth, all that sort of stuff, that you could come here and at no point would you ever feel like you weren't being accepted or tolerated in this space. Because you're in the journey. None of us have arrived. None of us have arrived yet. I've been doing this for 55 years and I still haven't arrived yet. I'm still trying to figure out my identity. So the challenge, guys, is quite simply, you are loved here. And if you're not loved, I personally want to know about it. Because I'll love you. I'll accept you. Why? Because you're a young person and you're a pearl. And we're not swine here. So wouldn't that be amazing? So tonight, my challenge to you is, it's so easy to listen to the radio, look at the telly, be on social media and see all of this stuff that's doing battle. We've got to battle here first. We've got to battle here. Am I intolerant to people? This guy came up to me on the weekend. I was at the caravan show and then I went back to the factory, and this guy came up to me, had no teeth, not a single tooth in his head, you know. And he came up to me, he was kind of talking a bit strange, and he said to me, oh, have you got a caravan like this big for sale? I said, oh yeah, I have. And I could find myself, the way he was dressed and the way he was presenting, that I was already judging this guy. Isn't that terrible? And he actually went inside the van. I stood back and I stood on the gravel car park and I said to myself, man, who do you think you are, dude? As a customer. Value him like a customer. Went inside. He said, yeah, I'll take it. $49,000 cash. Right? And where was I? I was in my own little judgmental, intolerant world. You know, saying, oh, toothless man, what would you have to offer? He had $49,000 in his pocket cash. He said, here you go. I should have mugged that mother. No, that was my other mother. That was the other side of my personality. So guys, here's the thing. Oh, I'm on video. I should have loved that mother and her son. You know, so you can just edit that over at the top of what we just said. So guys, I just want to encourage you. It is so easy. It is so easy to get gossipy and bitchy, and I don't know what the male version of bitchy is. What is it? A-hole. Right, okay, let's do that. About it. Same thing, really. You know, it's not necessarily a gender-based thing, but being that person that's actually criticising, judging, all that sort of stuff, don't be that here. You want to grab that bag, you leave it at the door. When you come in here, I don't want to hear ever. I don't believe it. I don't want to ever hear or see it that a young person that comes in here is not considered a pearl. That is not considered value. I don't care if you don't feel a value anywhere in your world. If you come here and you don't feel valued, then that upsets me. I've been doing this a long time, and the entire leadership team is committed to making sure that you feel like a pearl, a person that is loved. Sometimes you have to get over yourself in that process, because you could just try to keep being unloved, you know. And it's going to be hard to love, a bit like a porcupine, got a lot of spikes on it. So the challenge, guys, for you this week is for this. Just have a bit of a look first at who you're intolerant about and why. Somebody once said to me, what you see in others is actually magnified in you. So what you see in other people is actually in you.